Hello. So we have this right triangle right here, and the hypotenuse is 10, and the side on the bottom, side AC, is 8. And let's say you want to find the cosine of angle B. What does that equal? Well, remember that cosine is defined to be the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. Okay? So in this example, if we look at B, remember we're looking at angle B here, not angle A. Okay, so we're kind of on the top looking down. Now the opposite side is 8, but the cosine doesn't use that because cosine just uses adjacent over hypotenuse. Well, the hypotenuse is 10, but we don't know what this side is, so let's call it x. X is going to be the adjacent side. So in order to find the cosine, we have to find what this adjacent side is. So let's write this out. Cosine of B is equal to the adjacent side, which is x, divided by the hypotenuse, 10. And we're not done because we don't know what this side is. We don't know what x is equal to. Well, fortunately, we have something called the Pythagorean theorem. And that will help us find the value of x. So the Pythagorean theorem says that the sum of the squares of the two legs, so that's 8 squared, because 8 is a leg, plus x squared, because x is a leg, is equal to the hypotenuse squared. And the hypotenuse is 10, so it's going to be 10 squared. Very good, so we need to solve this equation. 8 squared is 64. We've got x right here, or x squared, I'm sorry. And then we've got 100 on this side. That's what 10 squared is. So we have 64 plus x squared equals 100. Okay, what we want to do is we want to solve for x squared. We want to get x squared all by itself. Okay, we don't want the 64 there. So what we can do is we can subtract 64 from each side. I'll just put it down here below, 64. Okay, and I'm going to carry down the equal sign here. On the right side, 100 minus 64 is 36. So that's a nice number. And the 64s cancel each other out. That's what we wanted to have happen. And now we just have x squared. So we have x squared is equal to 36. And so the way you solve for x is you undo the squaring by taking the square root of each side. Okay? What that will do is the square and the square root cancel each other out, and we just have x on the left side. Now let's look at what's happening over here. The square root of 36. So what number times itself is 36? Well, that's 6, because 6 times 6 is 36. So x equals 6. So now let's finish up here. Now that we know what x is, we're going to go back up here at the top, and I'm going to write our value of x is 6, so it's 6 over 10. So the cosine of angle B is 6 over 10, but you should always reduce your fraction. So 6/10, when you divide each number by 2, so that's a number that divides into both of them, you get 3. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So that's 3/5. So that's the answer.